Welcome everyone, Christine here with Grimgore Ironhide's campaign in the Omens of Destruction DLC, patch 6.0. Is he still the best? Well, he starts with a bunch of goblins, which, according to some, doesn't make sense from a lore perspective. Hint, it actually does. And he also has a couple of changed effects over here in his campaign. Minus 15% upkeep for Black Orcs and big guns. Post-battle loot plus 30%. He doesn't have the campaign movement range anymore, but that doesn't matter, because Grimgore is Grimgore. So let's take a look at this campaign. So you can get a bunch of Black Orc big bosses on turn 1. Just take Gorge a Rock, fight your initial battles, and since we're freaking Grimgore, we're just gonna loot it. There's this weird bug when you take a settlement where you just don't get money. And since we're Grimgore, we're not gonna go with anything other than raiding stashes because we're Grimgore. We're gonna make it work. So Weapon Master, Mushroom Addicted. Well, I can't say the Goblin economy is necessarily gonna suffer under Grimgore, but let's see a couple of turns from now. Research-wise, we probably want to go faster because, yeah, we're Grimgore. We want to go around the world beating the crap out of everyone. Get that scavenge ability. That's all goblins are useful from Grimgore's point of view, really. So by turn 11, Grimgore has taken all of Zarnagrund, 2 stacks of orcs, heroes, lots of Black Orc big bosses, because you get 1 by default, of course. Then you get 2 from the faction effect, and then 2 more from his lord effect. He's become like an Alariel type legendary lord. You know how Alariel is ridiculous because she gets 4 handmaidens? Well, you get 4 Black Orc big bosses, 5 really. And then you replenish campaign movement range after each battle by 25%. So you get moving even faster. Then your was have a chance to contain Black Orcs. Didn't happen in this particular case, but imagine showing up with 4 Black Orc units. But there is more to this than just those simple calculations. Beyond the sheer ridiculous amount of money you get in this campaign just by fighting the quest battles and the armies of Zarnagrund. And I didn't even sack Zarnagrund. I looted it, hoping that I would be able to capture it at tier 5. That, unfortunately, didn't happen. I'm sure if I had reloaded a bunch of times, it would have happened. But still. Fun fact, though, about Grimgore. Grimgore's Immortals. Yes, he has the Immortals banner, which is pretty useful. But he also has the Immortals armor upgrade. This is a lot of physical resistance, leadership, armor, on top of all other benefits that you do get for the Immortals. A very high level, very huge amount of cash, lots of possibilities, and then you can also get this Black Orc big fort pretty quickly in this campaign as well. So by turn 20, I'll be pumping out Stone Trolls, Black Orcs, you name it, just the tide of death and destruction. So let's see where we are in 10 turns from now. And besides, no one's going to declare war on you because you're freaking Grimgore. You would have to be suicidal to declare war on Grimgore in this situation if you're another lord. But the one great thing about this is you're in a great position to actually save Azak, who does also offer a bunch of sweet effects, lord effects, that you can take advantage of. Turn 21, well, Azak didn't need rescuing, Skarstanek did, and unfortunately I was a bit too slow to actually save him. Who cares, I did get his settlement, which eventually will allow me to recruit Mangler Squigs and Colossal Squigs at tier 3 over there, as well as the other juicy benefits that this location provides, including a 25% unit mass for Squig units. Imagine playing Grom and being able to get all those wonderful army buffs that he has with that particular landmark. Geez, that would be something. Still, Grimgore is ridiculous. I mean, just the sheer amount of heroes that you can get very quickly, just to give you guys an idea. Turn 21. I have 2 Night Goblin big bosses, 2 Giant River Troll Hags. I got 1 through a Confederation, so yeah, fair enough. But I would be able to get the second one, just literally 1 turn. 2 Goblin big bosses, 7 Black Orc big bosses, and 2 Shamans. Some people might go for 30 turns without being able to recruit another shaman. Grimgore, he gets it pretty damn early. And yeah, I only have 3 armies. Well, working on a 4th right here. Once you do get the Black Orc, the big fort over here, you can start recruiting Black Orcs in 1 turn in this province. So if you get a bunch of boss tents right here, you could potentially recruit an entire stack of Black Orcs and Black Orcs with great weapons in a single turn. And these Black Orcs, because of Grimgore's benefits, combined with the sheer amount of Black Orc big bosses that he can get, will be the best that you can recruit as any greenskin. Unless you confederate Grimgore, of course, and take his territory. Which is certainly a viable strategy. Don't sleep on Azak's potential in the campaign, because he actually has a lot of potential from a climate standpoint, being able to take temperate, and actually having a lot of diplomacy. Grimgore's diplomacy is, I will smash everything that lives, take all of their land, and then go for more. Go for a second round of it. That is quintessential Grimgore in a campaign. It's even better because with all the ogres that are around you, I didn't do it here, but you can get man-eaters. I mean, so can Gorbad. But let's just say Gorbad has a couple of economic issues early on that Grimgore does not have. The sheer amount of money you get in this campaign is ridiculous, which translates into getting a sheer amount of structures far quicker in this campaign and higher quality armies that you would not have in other campaigns. That is pretty damn substantial, all things considered. Also, minus 3% upkeep for squig units, faction-wide, recruit rank plus 3 for squig units. Is Grimgore secretly the best squig legendary lord? Because remember, you're close enough to Skarsnik and your natural expansion path. I mean, you would want to take Zarnagrim pretty quickly. So you could get a bunch of squig benefits. I mean, especially if you didn't end up in this situation, I would be able to recruit a bunch of mangler squigs and masses of regular squigs pretty quickly in this campaign. Lots of power available. And about that campaign movement range that Grimgore gets, that plus 25% campaign movement range after winning a battle, it's not just the movement range that's so substantial about it. It's also the fact that, and I'm sure people who have played the Khorne campaign are aware of this, when you regain movement range after a battle, one of the things you can do is, I can't do it here, well I can I guess, one of the things you can do is you can move, don't exhaust all your movement points, but you can switch to force march with an army, and then switch to encamp stance, which means you can go deep in enemy territory and still have replenishment for your armies, which, yes, it is as extremely powerful as it might sound. It's one of the chief benefits that Khorne had for a very long time, Valka, etc. But Grimgore, with all the heroes, like just his hero squad over here is a doom stack very early on. Let alone the other units that you do have, the upgrades you have access to, regiments, renown, etc., etc. So while he does certainly benefit from you having Omens of Destruction as DLC, Grimgore is still freaking Grimgore, aka broken as hell, powerful as hell, ridiculously wealthy, and extremely strong. I'm in 17 wars right now, and I really couldn't care. Like, in fact, taking this amount of territory, I could have taken more had I declared war on Azak instead of going through all this land and trying to see, hey, do you need my help? Do I need to beat up Bungarum for you? Maybe, maybe not. Apparently he didn't. So yeah, I wasted some time here. Could have been more efficient with my resources, to be sure, as opposed to recruiting this bullshit right here. Probably should have just recruited Mangler Squigs, but, like, here's the thing. Mangler Squigs versus silver-ranked Black Orcs. What do you think is better? One is cheaper than the other, that's for damn certain, in a campaign. One is cheaper, and mind you that some of that cheapness comes from the big fort itself, and like minus 20% upkeep that Grimgore is providing them, but to be certain, they'd still be cheaper than Mangler Squigs or Colossal Squigs. And in a lot of situations, far more effective as well. against a lot of units, because you can counter Mangler Squigs and Colossal Squigs. I mean, they're still going to be pretty damn crazy, but you can counter them. Black Orcs, there's a reason why heavily armored infantry is the meta in the game as it currently stands, and yeah, this is like Black Orcs for Grimgore are like as powerful as freaking Chosen. Maybe even more powerful than Chosen, provided you get all the scrap upgrades over here. That should give you an idea of what we're dealing with in this campaign. So is Grimgore the best? Yes, he's still the best Greenskin Legendary Lord and still one of the best Legendary Lords in the game, flat out. And even if you took Zarnagrun from him, for the record, even if you did that, he'd still be really freaking strong. Zarnagrun is a nice benefit, but you also have to invest a lot of money in it early on, which you may not have, to make it worth it. Zarnagrun's a nice early game benefit, but it's not a question about like, oh, you can take Zarnagrun very quickly. Arbol, for instance, is not powerful because you can take Zarnagrun quickly. Arbol is powerful because you can teleport around the freaking map with armies of Chosen very quickly in this campaign and just beat the crap out of everyone, making tons of money. Grimgore doesn't have quite that ability, but yeah, he's pretty damn scary. I would not want to encounter an army like this in my campaign, suffice to say. Would you want to deal with an army like this? Or an army like this? Well, this would be more manageable, suffice to say. But imagine a doom stack of Black Orc Big Bosses by turn 21 just coming towards you when you're playing as Ogres. I mean, I guess you could always disband them with Greases nowadays with Omens of Destruction. Costin-san, yeah, stay tuned for more.